You have been often, and you still do, expose a lot of ideas about how we can better our economy. At one time you were speaking of the Chilean model, which I think is essentially a dynamic market-driven economy.
Well, it's not only
characterized by
market
foreign
driven,
exports.
not only market driven.
Foreign trade.
Our biggest problem is the ability to start up. The people with the brains to start up don't have the will to do a mom and pops. A guy comes back from university and he has good ideas, but to tell him to go and start cleaning tables at a Kentucky Fried Chicken, he doesn't want that. Our style is that if you got education, you should have a corner office and you should go to work in a tie. Now, what the Chileans did, realizing this set up a foundation to start up businesses, to get through that rough period of when you can't get bank loans and this and that. And once those businesses started booming, they would sell them to the managers or the private sector people and let them, and this is still our problem. Our problem today, startup capital, startup know-how. So you had one group of guys who were brought back from Chicago School of Business or whatever, and they helped to formulate what are the things we are good at, what could we do? Yeah. And once that is started, they then handed it over to the private sector, because right now it is very, very difficult for a young man to give up his job. When I gave up my job at St. Vincent Electricity, I was working with CDC, with a pension in England. I gave that up to go to the flour mill. My mother cried for 2 weeks nonstop.
She couldn't understand why you wanted to change something that was
I had so settled.
Yes.
To go into selling flour and going, so it's how do we get over this? Yes. And we're not going to get over it by fighting each other at politics.
The World Economic Forum had a report 2009-2010 saying that Chile as a country was the 30th most competitive country in the world.
And Taiwan,
first in Latin America, ahead of
Taiwan,
Argentina.
the 14th. Yeah. So it's you look at Chile was their model. Taiwan, it's the model plus the people's drive and hard work. I mean, when you go there and see the voluntary acceptance of motor scooters as a way of transport, to save fuel, to save the greenhouse gases and that sort of thing.
As opposed to us who are just accumulating SUV after SUV.
Everybody has to drive an SUV, even if he's alone. That sacrifice to the greater good, it's something that I came away from Taiwan with a lot of strong feeling. And the model for Chile, nobody could ever tell me that would not have worked in St. Vincent. But, it got shot down and